Okay, I think we're ready. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Amy Forbes, and I'm the director of the Centennial Center for Leadership, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation. I want to warmly welcome all of the faculty, staff, family, friends, alumni, and community members that came out to support our finalists. I know you're in for a great event. I want to kindly remind our audience to silence your cell phones. We do, however, encourage you to post on your social media throughout the evening using the hashtag #ThePitch2020. You see that on the screen? Good. This is the 9th year of the pitch. I know it's hard to believe. It started in the fall of 2011 when President Emeritus Mark Gearan announced an academic theme for the year called The Power of an Idea. The staff of the Centennial Center couldn't think of a better time to offer the college's first entrepreneurial leadership contest. We never could have anticipated what the contest would become, but over time it's truly evolved into a celebration of ingenuity in the liberal arts. What we've learned is that our HWS students are more than up for this challenge. Their immersion in our liberal arts environment have especially poised and readied them for the assignment that's the pitch. Helping students develop their innovative ideas, writing their early business plans, strategizing to strengthen them and shift them into visual presentations has been an honor. We'd like to thank all of the professors and staff members and classmates that are here tonight. You have also played a part in shaping these ideas that these finalists will pitch tonight. The pitch is truly an HWS community effort. In the 9-year history, the pitch has had 199 participants, 76 alum and parent mentors, 29 alum and parent judges. Each year, the selection committee consists of faculty, staff, alums, and local entrepreneurs. We're deeply indebted to all of these individuals who make the contest possible every year. Students who have graduated and participated in the pitch are now making their mark, many of them still working on their pitch ideas. As it mentions in your program, Sarah Robleski, class of 2013, won the 2012 pitch for her nonprofit idea, One Bead. To date, her organization has raised over $1 million in donations. Additionally, Matty Mead, class of 2013, was a finalist in the 2013 pitch with his idea, Hempitecture. He was recently named to Forbes magazine's prestigious 30 Under 30 list for his work in the sustainable building sector. We're deeply proud of all of our past pitch participants. The audience should know that the 2020 pitch is the first year that all 4 finalists are William Smith students. For these finalists, tonight is the end of an intense 6-month experience. Preparing to present in front of an audience of this size and judges of this caliber is just a taste of what it actually takes to implement an entrepreneurial idea. We're deeply proud of all the finalists this year. We're inspired by their passion for their ideas and would challenge everyone in the audience to courageously step forward and introduce an idea to next year's pitch. If you're interested in entrepreneurship, you couldn't ask for more opportunities than what we have here at HWS. In addition to the programming that's coming out of the Centennial Center, we have a very popular entrepreneurial studies minor that teaches students how to become economic and social change makers. Additionally, we now have a vibrant space to house all this activity in a downtown incubator called the Bizzuto Center for Entrepreneurship. Together, these 3 partners make up entrepreneurship at HWS. Entrepreneurship at HWS is being bolstered by our dynamic alum base. Alums like Michael and Ellen Opel have launched the Opel Challenge to raise funds for co-curricular entrepreneurship programs. They will match donations up to 50% for $162,000 to establish the HWS Student Entrepreneurship Fund. This endowed fund will support financial projects for current and co-curricular programs and student initiatives. We'd like to extend a hearty thank you to Michael and Ellen, and Michael is here. And now let me introduce our judges. This evening, we are delighted to welcome David Kaplan, class of '83, co-founder and CEO of Pure Solo and Merge. Welcome, David. He's a returning judge, year 2 for him. And Jane Erickson, class of '07, project director of the Ripple Foundation. Welcome, Jane. And Tom Bizzuto, class of '68, chairman and co-founder of the Bizzuto Group. And Josephine Grayson, who is parent of the class of 2018. She is a longtime philanthropist. Welcome, Josephine. Collectively, they are an extraordinary group with the necessary wisdom and expertise to help us select their wisdom. We're so grateful that you would be here tonight. Thank you for all of your efforts. Yeah. And now to introduce our finalists, let me bring up our Assistant Director, Kate Finn.
Good evening. Before we begin, let me explain how we all got here tonight. This fall, we sent out a call for pitch proposals. We told students to describe their ideas for products, services, and organizations. They could be nonprofit or for-profit. Our selection committee chose 7 semifinalists, and we matched each of them with a mentor from our alum and our parent network. These mentors assisted students as they revised and strengthened their proposals, which they then resubmitted in January. After reviewing proposals for the second time, our selection committee decided on 4 finalists. These finalists are with us this evening. They have withstood 2 rigorous rounds where a written proposal was emphasized. For the last month, they have been training in our pitch boot camp, where they shift their proposals into presentations. Tonight, with the help of our judges, we will select one winner who will be awarded $10,000 to take their idea to reality. The audience should know that our judges are looking for 5 specific criteria this evening: presentation, innovation, viability, significance, and leadership. Each finalist will have 8 minutes of uninterrupted time to pitch their idea. After each presentation, each of the 4 judges will get to ask 1 question. Once all 4 finalists have finished, our judges will be excused to deliberate, and our audience will enjoy dessert out in the hallway during a brief intermission. During intermission, please keep an ear open, as we will invite you all back in for our 2nd annual Flash Pitch Contest. After that contest is over and that winner has been announced, we will all come back together to announce the winner of our $10,000 pitch grant. All right, now we're ready to get started. To start us off this evening, I'd like to invite to the stage our first finalist, a senior named Maya Weber. Maya is an economics major with minors in entrepreneurial studies and international relations. She was paired with pitch mentor Ted Brodheim, class of 1982, who is a senior executive at Samsung Electronics of America. Please welcome Maya.
For those of you who know me, you know I'm a very social person, and I love talking with people. This has allowed me to truly understand the power of networking, which helped me to get an internship and ultimately a job. Hi, my name's Maya Weber, and let me introduce you to Syndesis, an online service that assists in the organizational management, tracking, and teaching of the networking process through counselor feedback. At Syndesis, which means connections in Greek, we believe that your network, or inner circle as we prefer to call it, is the most important part of your job or internship search. These people are your friends, your family, your classmates, your colleagues, and the people who they introduce you to. Our service will help you strengthen the connections you already have and those which you will create, helping you to build and define your inner circle. Now you're probably asking yourself, why not LinkedIn? LinkedIn does not foster the long-term relationships and personal growth that we are looking to facilitate. Many college students think of their LinkedIn as an online version of their resume in a race to reach 500+ connections. All this means is that you have a lot of people in your outer circle, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But Syndesis will help you transform some of these connections into relationships. So you're utilizing your outer circle to help you expand your inner circle. Therefore, we do not see LinkedIn as a competitor, but rather a professional network we can leverage as part of our solution. By utilizing LinkedIn, students are able to maintain and grow connections outside their current circle. At Syndesis, we believe that networking is a critical skill that all students should master before they graduate college. According to a survey done by Strata Education, only 36% of students are confident in their skills and knowledge to be successful. And with 70% of jobs not being published and more than 70% of people getting their jobs via networking, students need to be confident. Syndesis will help students increase their confidence. Since not everyone is a social butterfly like me, networking does not come as naturally to them. And although the art of networking has not changed, the way that we organize, track, and understand networking has. Unlike previous generations, not only do we want things in the blink of an eye, but we expect them. At Syndesis, we understand that most people know what networking is and why it is important, but they don't know how to do it. It is our goal to help students understand the relationship building process because you can't just call someone and ask for a job. Now that we've talked about the problem, let's take a look at the solution. We look at relationship building in 4 steps. First, you need to create a connection. Then, you can establish and cultivate a relationship. You do this by asking the right questions, listening to the answers, and staying in touch. Utilizing these skills will allow you to fully experience the relationship. Here, you'll understand the importance of different types of connections. Advocates, allies, and acquaintances are all important people to have in your inner circle. After you understand and experience your relationship, you're ready to give back. Steps 3 and 4 do not mean that your relationship is over, but only that it is beginning to grow and develop further. With Syndesis, students will be able to track their connections and keep notes from these exchanges in the same location. Career counselors will be able to see the frequency of students' communications and hold them accountable for their networking. This allows counselors to act as mentors towards students. By connecting your calendar and email to Syndesis, we're looking to streamline the networking process. Calendar alerts can be set up to remind students when they haven't reached out to connections in a while. This encourages the human component of networking that many people struggle with and forget about. Students will benefit from Syndesis through our educational resource library, which will help them build the skills to ease stress and build confidence when it comes to the networking process. At Syndesis, we promote the idea of mentor networking, where a student's inner circle will help them gain skills to succeed, not only in their first job, but throughout their entire career. Now, let's take a look at the career counselors. Their #1 job is to help students obtain employment. When students are happy after graduation, they tend to give back more, benefiting the school both financially and socially. Syndesis helps make both of these things happen. At Syndesis, we believe this allows the career counselors to get to know students better by easing majority of their burdens. Counselors are then able to connect students better with the available opportunities as well as the right alumni and alumni, helping them to succeed in their future. Now, let's talk about how we're going to make money. Our revenue stream will be based off a subscription model. On average, institutions can expect to pay an annual fee of $5,700. This number is based off a per counselor fee and will vary by institution. With 5,300 institutions and 19.9 million students, we have a very large potential market. It is our goal to convert a percentage of student users who have graduated from our partner institutions for a professional version of our service that we will build in year 3. This will generate us a whole new line of revenue. After our initial phases of planning and development, we look to enter the market in the first quarter of 2021. First, we plan on targeting liberal arts institutions in the northeastern United States. We believe that liberal arts institutions are a good place to focus our efforts because they have a diverse group of students and alums who do not always have direct career paths. By year 4, we plan to have 200 schools, which will generate us a little bit over $1.1 million in revenue. This will be when we turn a profit. Finally, our startup costs will be focused on the research and development of Syndesis. In order to build our online presence, it will cost approximately $100,000. Other costs we will incur include marketing and general administrative expenses. Although our startup costs will be higher, we plan to use the $10,000 from the pitch to develop a working beta version that we will launch in fall 2021. But before I go, I want you to think about your inner circle. Who are your advocates, allies, and acquaintances? What are you to them? At Syndesis, we believe that students should maximize their inner circle by encouraging them to connect, experience, cultivate, and give back. This will help them ensure success in the future. By allowing students to utilize their existing network and alumni and alumni from their schools, will help them gain the necessary skills to ensure success following graduation. Now I'd like to give a shout out to my inner circle, because without them, I would not be standing here in front of you today. First, I'd like to thank Marcel Johnson, who I started this project with last spring. I'd also like to thank my mentor, Ted Brodheim, as well as my super supportive friends and family, among countless others. And now, don't forget, your circle will be as big or as small as you want it to be. Whatever you put into it is what you'll get out of it. It isn't about the number of connections, it's about the depth of the relationship. Thank you.
Wonderful job. So one question is around the evidence that higher ed will be interested beyond, anecdotal conversations that you've had with folks here, and then relatedly, it's a pretty aggressive expansion plan that you have. So what does it look like to effectively market to such a wide range of schools?
Right, so we plan on, I'll kind of answer the second question first. We think that once we have a few success stories, it'll be really easy to sell our product, because once students get jobs, I did a lot of research on this, the better an experience they have at their college or university, the more they're going to give back to the school financially, which not only helps everything on campus, kind of, because money is very nice. It helps appeal to the admissions office, because when you see students getting jobs after college, that's a return on your investment in your child who you're sending to college. So that's how we kind of plan on marketing towards them. But we also plan on going to ed tech conferences and other networking events through career counseling centers that they attend.
That was terrific. That was a great.
Thank you.
And a very interesting idea. But clearly, networking is about building personal relationships. And so I guess I'm a little confused, and you know that there's a couple of years age difference associated with that. But is this a tool intended for a student to manage the group, a growing group of personal relationships, and for the advisor to monitor what the student is doing?
Absolutely. So from the student's perspective, you'll be able to see all the people who you're talking with in each conversation that you have with an individual. You'll be able to keep notes from that conversation. The career counselor who you're working with will then be able to see the frequency of conversation with the number of individuals who you speak with, as well as the number of individuals. So this would hold the students accountable, because I work in the career services office, and oftentimes students are coming into their meetings not doing their homework, so to speak, so the meetings just aren't effective and efficient as they could be.
I have a question. I also agree that was a great presentation, really appreciate it, and there seems to be a big crowd here that supports you, and should be other contestants. So there are really three players in this particular platform. There are the students, there's the Career Center, and then there are those that are going to give back, the mentors, the loan, etc. Have you thought about a social or judgmental side to have the students and the Career Center rate the alum and the mentors and how they're going to give back?
That is not something that I've necessarily thought about until you just brought it up, but I think that every relationship that you have is different based on the person that you have it with. So my mom and I have a different relationship than my sister and my mom have, so I don't think it's fair to have a rating system based on per person because everyone has a different personality.
I did enjoy the presentation. It was good, thanks. So for the college, the university, your client, what is the ask of them? They write you a check, they subscribe. What's their responsibility? Is there any upload of data? Is there a heavy lift on their part?
Sure, so right now we're still in the idea phase, so I'm not exactly sure what Syndesis, obviously beyond what I've discussed tonight, will do. One of the ideas I've toyed with is adding an alumni database from the school, and then that would ease the burden of going to the career offices and going on their computers and understanding who's in the network. So there isn't too much work on their part. It's more just to help ease the burden of the career counselors and help them get to know the students better, generate more outcomes for them, and happier students who give back more financially and socially, helping to build the reputation of the school.
All right, nicely done, Maya. All right. Now I'd like to introduce our second finalist, a senior named Nicole Wright. Nicole is an English major with a minor in health professions. She was mentored by Jake Leckie, class of 2010, who is sales director at Hudson Sutler. Won't you please welcome Nicole to the stage to present Emeritus Fire Gift.
Hello, my name is Nicole Wright, and I am a proud member of the Geneva Fire Department, which is why I created a company called Emeritus Fire Gear and a product for firefighters to wear, which will reduce the time it takes when responding to emergencies. So I want you all to imagine that you just got home from school or work, you decide to make dinner, you put it in the oven and leave it to cook. While inside, some grease spills over and a fire starts. This happens every day. According to research, 30 years ago you had 17 minutes to get out of a house fire. Today, you only have 3 to 4. That's because new homes and their furniture burn hotter and faster, a lot faster. In fact, a fire doubles in size every 30 seconds. But that may be a little hard for you guys to imagine, so I want you to see it for yourselves with a common household item like a Christmas tree. By 10 seconds, you can see the flames have already reached the ceiling. And after 20 seconds, there's already a thick layer of black smoke at the top of the room. "30 seconds. It's the difference between your kitchen being on fire or your kitchen and living room being on fire. Or the difference between the first floor of your house being on fire and you can wait by a window on the second floor to your entire house being on fire and those conditions become unsurvivable. By calling 911, you're initiating a chain reaction because a lot of things have to happen before the fire department can arrive and put that fire out. or if need be, save you. One of those time essential elements is us putting on our gear, because every single piece of equipment is vital to our safety. These include our boots, bunker pants, gloves, jacket, helmet, SCBA pack, SCBA mask, and our very important Nomex hood. Now you may be thinking, that's a lot. And you're right, which is exactly why I created a product that allows firefighters to already be wearing a part of their protective equipment, their Nomex hood, by attaching it to a sweatshirt and creating a hoodie. And what does that mean for you? That we can get to you or your family faster. Now, I'm fully aware that most of you have likely never seen or heard of a Nomex hood prior to today, which is why I have two people here who are going to demo what we call the donning and doffing drill, which by National Fire Prevention Association Standard 1001 is required to be done under 2 minutes. You'll see just how much quicker they can get ready by wearing my product, and if any obstacles arise, such as a twisted strap, we can still get ready in that time or less. Brandon and Brian are both volunteer firefighters, going about their everyday lives wearing hoodies. However, Brandon's is a normal hoodie, and Brian's is made by Emeritus Fire Gear, which means that his Nomex is already on. They're both walking down the street when suddenly their pagers go off, and they're toned out to a structure fire with people trapped. As they begin, you'll first notice that Brandon has to remove his regular hoodie because the material can't be visible during a fire, and leaving it tucked in would create a bulge in the back of his coat that's going to prevent his Nomex from sitting properly. Brian, however, already has his coat on, while Brandon still had to locate his Nomex from whichever pocket he keeps it in or find a spare on the truck. That's because it has to be put on before the jacket so that the bib part can sit flat against your chest. Otherwise, if you tuck it in afterwards, it's more likely to ride up and expose your neck. My product eliminates that altogether, which is more efficient in terms of preventing burns as well as cancer in the long run. As you can see, Brian had an enormous advantage and is undoubtedly the person you would want to come in and rescue you in an emergency. Thank you, guys. I performed other trials of that at the firehouse to find out the average time saved by wearing my product as opposed to the traditional Nomex hood. And it was roughly 30 seconds. Now that may not seem like a lot, but remember the video you guys just saw. A lot can happen in 30 seconds. It could be the difference between minor damage to your house or it looking like this. And that's how I know that my product will save property and lives. Now that you know my product, you can probably make an educated guess that my target customers will be firefighters. But more specifically, I'm going to start with volunteers, because they're the ones who are responding in their street clothes and would benefit the most from having a hoodie that wouldn't prohibit their response time. I also want to focus on urban communities like Geneva, because we have more house fires as opposed to brush fires, where there aren't necessarily lives and property in danger. I come from a combination department, meaning we have both volunteer and career firefighters, which gives me a unique perspective for who this would benefit most, but also that it could easily be expanded further. I can see firefighters, career firefighters down the line wearing this in replacement of their job shirt with their department logos on it. I can also see friends and family of firefighters wearing these down the line, because that's what makes our product unique. It has the amazing capabilities of providing firefighters with an essential tool, but it's also practical for everyday wear, which really expands our customer base. Now let me tell you about my business plan. There's approximately 30,000 fire departments across the U.S., 24,000 of which are majority or completely volunteer. I know I can sell at least 15 to each department or more through individual sales, because a lot of firefighters like to buy spares or different colors. With the pitch money, I also want to look into securing a patent, because I don't currently have any competitors, so that's something that would be very time sensitive. Lastly, I want to continue advertising through social media, conferences, and other large events. So far, I've only purchased in small quantities, but I've estimated the price of material on a larger scale, and it's come to $17. I will be selling the hoodies for $60 a piece, which I think is completely reasonable considering the fact the bookstore offers some for this or more. But mine also has the benefit of a tool attached. I also know that Nomex's online range from $20 to $150 alone. And so after speaking with the local fire chief, I've confirmed that fire departments would already have room in their budgets for these. And after speaking with multiple firefighters myself, they've told me that they would be willing to buy it out of their own money. The beauty is the simplicity. We're bringing two things together to create a product that could be the difference between life and death. There's only 3 basic materials: the Nomex material, the sweatshirt material, and the thread. I've already worked with a seamstress to create the demo that you guys saw tonight, and I want to continue to work with her to create a few different designs and see which would work best. As a 5th-generation firefighter, I firmly believe that this is in my blood, but I also want to continue to find the different ways to do the best job possible. And with this product, I feel safer, more prepared, and hopeful that in the future, less lives will be unnecessarily lost because this product exists and can prevent it.
Hi.
Hello.
That was great. I really thought you did a great job communicating the time saver factor. So I ask, okay, it works for that end. How does it work as a viable streetwear product? Because the idea is it's comfortable enough to wear so that when they are called, they could just pull it over their head. What's the comfort like? Have you surveyed with people trying it?
Yeah, so that was actually my biggest concern, was the tightness around the neck, because it obviously is a little smaller than your average hoodie, which is part of the reason I want to try a few different designs to see if we could do a drawstring so it can be a little looser. But I have gotten feedback from both of those guys as well as other people in the fire department, and they said it's perfectly comfortable, it's not too tight, that they would wear it around their everyday lives, and that they enjoyed having the benefit of that attached.
Nicole, I think that's great. It was a great presentation and a really interesting idea. And you know, when you're starting a business, you always assume, I mean, you're focusing on a market and you've identified your market. But let's assume you're successful in this part of the world. It gets warm in the other parts of the world. You know, in places like North Carolina and even, you know, any place south of here, it warms up a couple of days a year. Are these just winter wear garments, or are they intended to be designed with a fabric that can be used all year round?
So initially it started out as just a way for firefighters to be able to wear sweatshirts or hoodies, because as a firefighter myself, and my father is a firefighter, he wouldn't wear hoodies because he knew that it would take too much time to take it off if we got a fire call. So initially it was solving that problem. But I have thought about it, and I've talked with my seamstress about some other ways we could incorporate it into different wear, like just a thin long sleeve shirt or a t-shirt. So it can be incorporated in different ways into practically any piece of clothing. But even down in Florida, I mean, they get cold at night, so just a casual hoodie they might throw on anyway. So I can see it being worn anywhere, and I can also see us expanding to different types of clothes.
Really fantastic job. So I would imagine in this industry that safety standards are a pretty big deal for the stuff that firefighters put on their bodies. And that could have implications for the R&D of new products. So what kinds of, you know, what is the testing process going to potentially look like for this? Could you bump up against any barriers in terms of, you know, regulations that you have to be conscious of?
So I haven't looked specifically at a lot of the regulations yet, but I have thought about that and the fact that it's really not changing the original product of the Nomex that much, except for it's expanding it. It's not prohibiting anything that did before, so I can't see any reasons why they would, if the regular Nomex is approved, that this wouldn't be approved. There's a lot of benefits to it, but I haven't come across any safety issues that could arise or anything that I could see them saying this is against this rule or that safety measure.
And could you just speak a little bit to how you're actually going to test and prototype the product to make sure that it is safe?
Yeah, so I've already actually worn it. I have used it on fire scenes, and it works just as well, if not better, than the other ones. I personally prefer it. As someone with long hair, it prevents the Nomex from riding up and exposing the neck. As I said before, that can happen. A lot of guys will tuck it in, and it's also nice because if you're arriving at a call that you don't think is a fire, you already have it on rather than having to go back and put it on. So I have personally worn it myself, and I know that I feel safer in those aspects, but I will be going to further measures and talking with people who know those regulations so that I can make sure that I'm meeting all of those standards.
Thanks very much, and also I think we should thank the other two gentlemen that were here. That was very impressive. I don't know if they're still here. But clearly you care deeply about this area, that you, from a generational side of your family and all, and that comes across. It's really impressive. So I've got a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to throw 3 questions at you because I guess, because I'm here. I guess one is what Tom was touching on. I'm from New York City, and we have fire departments really nearby, and you see a very different type of call out and probably speed and response time. Same concepts and needs, but a different type of play. So I just wonder marginally how much of a difference does it make of big city versus rural setup, for one. And before you get to that, equipment is very heavy, and I'm wondering, since you think this way, are there other efficiencies that maybe are your future scale for speeding up other components of the process, whether the shoes or the gear, the outside gear, and the importance of what's required to fight a fire, and also actually being able to get it on quickly?
Yeah, so to address your first question about the cities versus more rural areas, I mentioned briefly that I think that departments responding to house fires where there's lives and property in danger would benefit most, but I also can see any fire department, whether they're in the city or a small town or out in the middle of nowhere, using this product and still benefiting from it, still benefiting from the fact that it takes them less time to get dressed, or that if they're a female firefighter and they have a lot of hair, it's not going to ride up, or just it's not going to ride up even because you tucked it in, or accidents happen and gear malfunctions sometimes. So I think that they can still see all of those benefits regardless of where they are fighting that fire. And then your second question had to do with
Other areas to increase response time.
Yeah, so I have thought about other products in other areas. I've come up with a few ideas, but when I've looked into it, they've already been worked on. But I do think that I definitely want to expand, and if I can find other ways to save time, I would love to look into that.
Thank you.
Great job, Nicole. Thank you. Our third finalist is sophomore Kathy Leach. Kathy is a psychology major with a minor in entrepreneurial studies. She worked closely with pitch mentor Sarah Robleski, class of 2013, who is CEO of OneBead. Please welcome Kathy to the stage to present Girls Pride Foundation.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Let me tell you the story of one of the girls I work with called Elizabeth, as pictured above, a 14-year-old. Like all of us, she has big dreams of becoming successful. One evening, she came home to find village elders gathered at her home. She asked her mother what the occasion was, and her mother told her, "Kesho unaenda kukatwa," which means tomorrow you will be circumcised, a procedure that we now know as female genital mutilation. Her mother instructed her to go to the living room and greet her husband. She had already been married off to a 50-year-old man whom she had never met. Her dowry, which is the price for a bride, had already been paid. All that was left was for her to undergo this ritual to cross the bridge into womanhood. And in a flash, her dreams came crashing. I want you all to imagine your life being planned out without your knowledge. That is the life that way too many girls go through in Samburu. Girls Pride is a community-based organization that works with women before, during, and after female genital mutilation. Female genital mutilation, also known as FGM, involves partial or total removal of the female external genitalia for non-medical reasons, according to World Health Organization. In the Samburu community, FGM is practiced as a cultural tradition that has been passed down generation to generation under the order of men to signify the transition into womanhood. To give you a scope of how widespread this practice is, an estimated 200 million women worldwide have already undergone FGM, according to World Health Organization. There are an estimated 3 million girls every year worldwide who are at risk of undergoing FGM. 28 of the 54 countries in Africa still practice FGM. In Kenya alone, we have a 21% prevalence rate. Girls Pride is dedicated to working with the women in the Samburu community that has a prevalence rate of 86%. FGM has multiple health consequences on a woman's body. To give you a sense of how gruesome this procedure is, here are some impacts. Severe bleeding or dying during the process, as the women who perform the cut are not medically trained. Increased risk of HIV due to sharing of the same blade on multiple girls. Difficulty during childbirth, low self-esteem, and difficulty with body image, just to mention a few. You might be thinking to yourself, there must be something good that comes out of FGM, considering how widely practiced it is. So what are the benefits of FGM? None. To be very clear, there are 0 benefits that come out of FGM. Girls Pride centers around 3 core activities. First, we create educational awareness. Second, we provide an alternative to FGM. And lastly, we empower the women financially. To date, we have talked to 26 clans in Samburu, 22 of whom were receptive to the information we provided. A clan consists of an extended family of about 20 to 25 members living together. We have had resistance from 4 clans, but by large, most had very positive reactions. We hold our workshops twice a day, and simply by education, we see that one by one, people are more willing to change their practice away from FGM. We understand that to the community, FGM is a cultural practice, and it is very hard to ask people to stop practicing a tradition when they have done so for thousands of years. Therefore, we developed our Tree for Tree initiative, which provides an alternative to FGM. Once a girl reaches a mature age, instead of being mutilated, we provide trees, and the girl plants the tree to signify the start of a new chapter in her life. We always have the male elder dig the tree hole, and the girl plants the tree. To date, we have planted 27 trees in 11 clans out of 400 plus clans. The clans we have planted trees in have responded positively, and we are seeing our Tree for Tree initiative replacing FGM. Some of the ways we will break the patriarchal stronghold in the community is by giving the women an opportunity to better themselves financially to be able to send their daughters to school. Samburu women make and design beautiful jewelry, such as the one I'm wearing tonight, and we aim to create a market space for them in Kenya to be able to sell this jewelry. We will do this by reaching out to 5-star hotels in Kenya that attract both local and international clientele. This past month, my co-founder, who is pictured next to me, is based in Kenya, and she has been in meetings with hotel chains, most of which we have received positive responses that they are willing to give us the space to do so. The good news is that we have been on the ground for 1 year now, and we are starting to see some results. We have established community understanding and relations, and we are now looking for your help to take Girls Pride to the next level. Because FGM is a very emotionally heavy and sensitive topic, it is very essential that these women have a space that they feel physically and emotionally safe in. This next year, we plan to build a community safe space. Following that, it is important for us to register as a 501c3 organization in the US to be able to receive future funding, as well as register as a community-based organization in Kenya. With the $10,000, I will be able to right away mobilize my team to start on the land transaction process, purchase construction materials, purchase trees, and start on the process of jewelry production by the women. Here is an example of the building we will create called a Manyata, a space for us to be able to conduct our educational programs in. The Samburu community move often in search of pasture for their cows. Therefore, they need to build portable houses such as these. For us, constructing this type of building will be a game changer, as we can be able to build multiple manyatas depending on how far apart the clans are, and the women can be able to move with the manyatas when they move to a new place. We know that this is a large issue, and the work will, for my summer plans, I will be flying back to Kenya, and I will be there for a full 3 months to continue facilitating ground activities with my co-founder. We know that this is a large issue, and the work will be long and hard, but we can make a deep impact in this community where the rates are high. When I first started this project, I started it as a research project in high school. I had no idea how to interact with the women, as I have never undergone FGM, but the moment I got there, I really resonated with them. Most of these girls get mutilated against their will. They want to go to school, and the women want to support their daughters in a way that they were never supported. After the end of a long day in the field, seeing the smiles of these girls makes me happy, knowing that step by step, I am working to create a better future for them. For me to be here, someone took a chance on me and believed in me to make the most out of myself. I would not be standing in front of you today if not for the efforts of multiple people in my life who have supported me. I want to give those girls the same opportunity that was given to me. I want to give them a chance to live a life free of FGM and a chance to be able to go to school. Now let me take you back to Elizabeth's story. Through the help of a neighbor, she was able to escape to her grandma's place the night she learned she was to be mutilated, and she is now a freshman in high school. Elizabeth is one of the lucky girls that has escaped the grasps of FGM for now. She is still at risk of being mutilated by community members who are deeply ingrained in this practice. This is why it is so important that Girls Pride is on the ground to continue educating the community on dangers of FGM and pushing for its eradication. I will continue to work with young girls like Elizabeth to help them find their way to educational and financial stability, and step by step get rid of the gruesome procedure that is female genital mutilation. Thank you.
Kathleen, the topic is overwhelming, and you did a wonderful job of presenting it to all of us. But I do struggle to understand, and I want to, is the notion that you will be providing the girls the opportunity to make money, and that by having money in their pocket, they will be able to refuse their family's desires and the tradition of having this procedure done?
Not exactly. So Samburu is a very patriarchal community. So the men decide, they make decisions of everything that goes on in the community. And as such, most of the women, actually it's girls my age that are now starting to receive education. Most of the women never went to school, so they tend to rely on the men 100% for everything. The men, of course, do not send the girls to school because girls' education is not valued a lot. So that's why we want to give these older women a financial, to give them financial stability so that they can be able to support their daughters to go to school And as such, we are breaking the patriarchal stronghold from a different direction, other than creating educational awareness to stop FGM. Yeah. Does that answer fully? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was really very, the scope of it is tremendous, what you're tackling, and I commend it. My question is, off of Tom's question about the community. In order to be successful, there's that community acceptance that you need. Is your co-founder a part of that community? Is she there? Like, who? That's a barrier that I'm imagining that is pretty big to get through.
My co-founder is not from that community. She's from a different community. Just to give you a background, I started this project when I was in high school. And so I had been working on it for 2 years in that community before I decided to found Girls Pride. So by the time I founded Girls Pride, I'd already had those community interactions and relations, and I'd already built that community understanding and gained their trust, so that by the time I founded Girls Pride, it was easier for us to cross that barrier than from a fresh standpoint. At the moment, my co-founder is in Kenya, so she's frequently visiting that community, and we've been able to build a deeper understanding with the community.
So it took 2 years to really build the relationship and gain the trust to then have the women in the community feel comfortable going to you?
Yeah, it's been, it's very hard to come in and tell people to stop doing something that they've been doing, and there's always that push and resistance. So for me, it's very important to have those personal relationships, and that's how we've been able to get to this point, because we don't take it as a community as a whole, but we deal with every individual on a one-on-one level to be able to understand them and for them to understand us as well.
I'm gonna add to what everybody else has said. When there is an issue or a problem that is as dramatic and difficult as this, it's always challenging to, how do I communicate this? How do I educate? But then also, how do I action it? And the area that is practical and challenging is that this is a problem that is in a number of other nations. You put up a map just across Africa alone. UNICEF have unbelievable reports on Africa, everything from fertility rates and lifespan and number of other things, that all genders and all items. Highly complex. And your story is compelling, and you talk about trees and then certain homes that need to be mobile because of the way people live in this particular group. And your dream to combat this and to educate is worthy. And my question is actually, how do you drill down to, starting with the $10,000, what are the key little steps that you want to achieve, and then where does it go from there? Because you're talking about tackling a taboo, male-driven, male tribe-driven issue, as you've said. And I don't think anybody would deny that. And so for those that have that dream to do it, I guess the question I throw out to you, is it really trees and the homes and the beads and that worth, or are there other ideas that maybe you've thought about and you haven't just had time to articulate that we need to also think about and help you get to where you need to get to?
Let me start with the trees issue. So the Samburu, they're a communal community, so they share their majority of things. So there's not, let's say for land, there's not a set land for someone. Land is a communal, the land is communal to the community. So therefore, when they migrate to the, move from place to place, the tree issue is, it's a signature, for example, let me say, for that particular community. So even if let's say your clan we come and plant a tree to your clan, and you migrate to another clan. Someone else's clan will come and take that your spot, and that's a significance that they're shifting away from FGM and moving to more humane ways of celebrating their women's transition into womanhood. Your other question was what to do the $10,000 that I can do step by step. Right now, for me, my major concern is to be able to get a safe space going on. There's one of the slides I showed when the women were sitting on the ground, and that was actually one of our educational awareness programs, and that is how we conduct them as at the moment. We look for a big tree with the biggest shade, and we sit underneath the tree shade. And it becomes very problematic because we are out in the open, and these women, we're talking about issues that some of these women have gone through traumatic events, and it becomes problematic in the sense that they shy away from talking because of being out in the public where everyone can pass by the road as we discuss these issues. Number two, we use props. So we have a prop of the female external genitalia in which we teach the women in, and we need to have poster boards to write. And therefore, for me, my biggest step, actually my next step right now moving forward to Girls Pride is creating this safe space in which the women can be able to feel more open to discuss about these issues, in which we can be able to get the men in there and discuss these issues in a safe space. And it gives us more mobility to be able to achieve our full potential of our educational programs in. So that is, with the $10,000, that is my biggest next step to go to. Does that answer fully, or? Okay.
Thank you for this, and I think most importantly for the work that you already have done that's so significant in this community. So my question is about risk and unintended consequences, which is, a part of any venture, but obviously for social ventures, it's particularly important that there's heightened consciousness and awareness about that. So given that there's a degree of visibility with all of the aspects of the intervention that you named, so going to a physical location that people can see, planting a tree that people can see, doing beadwork that people can see, what are some of the risks and the unintended consequences for the women that might participate in this, and how have you thought to guard against some of those or mitigate some of those risks?
Yeah, to start with, I'd say the women are already at risk as we speak. You saw all the health impacts that come from FGM, so there's already that risk aspect. As Girls Pride, I believe we're working towards lowering that risk. When it comes to safety aspect of it, I've seen it personally firsthand because I've gone to certain clans and we've had that pushback. I have not seen any physical risk for your physical safety. It's more of shunning you away from that particular clan. Let's say if I came to your clan and you shun me away, I'm not invited to come back into your clan, or rather that friendship is broken. So it's not a physical safety aspect, it's more of verbal safety aspect of it. And that's why we are working towards having those conversations over and over again. And for the clans that we've received resistance, we keep going back there over and over again, even though they're tired of seeing us, because the only way we can be able to break that barrier is by educating them and giving them this education knowledge about what exactly happens with FGM. So risk aspect, I am not afraid for the women physically. I'm only afraid for them maybe in terms of the relationship bonds that maybe they had with those other community members. Does that answer? Okay.
Thank you, Kathy. Great work. Our fourth and final finalist is a team of 3 seniors. Chloe Emler is a Media and Society and Psychology major. Addison Gilbard is a Media and Society major. And Hannah Binney is a History major. They were mentored by Xana Lawrence, class of 2007, who is the manager of original documentary programming with Netflix. Won't you please welcome Chloe, Addison, and Hannah. creators of Exit 42 Media.
Hi, I'm Madison Gilbard.
I'm Chloe Emler.
And I'm Hannah Binney.
When we were younger, we heard the same lines many parents tell their children. When you grow up, you can be anything. Young women are hearing this, but they're not seeing it. The influential power of media has been studied for decades. It has the power to change the world and shape our biases.
In 2018, the Gina Davis Institute did a survey of over 2,000 women in STEM fields and found that nearly 2/3 of these women reported that the character Dana Scully from X-Files was a personal role model for them, increasing their confidence to work in these male-dominated fields.
The problem is, things like this are the exception. Dr. Tushman, a professor at the University of Connecticut, explained that women in media are often ignored or only placed in historically traditional roles, such as wife or victim, which encourages the continued disempowerment of women in society. This disempowerment starts from the moment a writer pens the script. Not only are men more likely to be the ones writing scripts, but scripts written by men are nearly twice as likely to not feature a female protagonist than those written by women.
That's where Exit 42 Media comes in. We're a multimedia company focused on writing representative fictional TV show scripts to be sold to streaming services. We use an innovative method of gauging story interest through our use of multimedia, which includes videos, podcasts, and comics. We use this content as a way of gaining traction for our TV shows.
Currently, independent screenwriters take their TV show ideas and pitch them to companies. These companies take on huge amounts of risk, buying scripts that may not be successful. If the show does happen to take off, this company is likely to make spin-off content, such as another series or comic. This content is made because the company has a proof of concept in the show's world, meaning they know there's an already established audience who will pay for more content. At Exit 42 Media, we take this model and turn it upside down.
Instead of using the TV show as our proof of concept, we'll use a comic to gauge story interest. While writing our script, we'll be able to test the show's concept by developing a comic around the idea of the show. Take Wynonna Earp, for example, which started out as a comic and gained a loyal following, which attracted producers who turned it into a show. At Exit 42 Media, the difference is we purposely make our comics to be adapted into shows. By streamlining the process between comic and show, we write our comic, gain a loyal following through social media and other artistic platforms, creating a community around our comic. This will give us a proof of concept to go and pitch our script with, eliminating the risk of an unsuccessful show.
We're doing this because research shows that streaming services are more likely to acquire content with a proof of concept in order to reduce the financial risk and unpredictability of if consumers will like the show once it's produced.
With this in mind, let's talk about our competition. Our indirect competitors include staff at online streaming services, but in-house screenwriters aren't able to provide a proof of concept and following like we can. Our direct competition includes independent screenwriters, such as authors and screenwriters. However, they're focused solely on one medium, largely ignoring the other formats of media that could generate a larger and more loyal following.
Another direct competitor includes small media houses, such as Night Vale Presents and Rooster Teeth. Night Vale Presents is male-focused, working only on podcasts, not yet tapping into the female or multimedia aspects of our approach. Rooster Teeth, though one of our competitors, is also a perfect example of multimedia success. Rooster Teeth started as a small, male-founded production company and has grown into a small multimedia empire, recently being bought by Warner Brothers. Multimedia not only has a proven record, but this trend is predicted to increase.
Now, you're probably wondering how we'll survive in this industry. Well, the key is we're tapping into the content creation market as the demand for original content rises. It's no longer practical for streaming services to host pre-existing content. In order to compete, they not only need to be creating their own content, but need content that reflects the demand for female representation.
Our original content focuses on characters, storylines, and production. We want representative female characters that reflect humanity, and our storylines to challenge the societal disempowerment of women. We also want our work produced by female-led production teams. One way we'll help to ensure this is by collaborating with various content creators to pull in differing perspectives, and by partnering with organizations like the Alliance for Women in Media and Women in Film.
As our company grows, our goal is to address the lived experiences of other underrepresented groups.
We started making content 2 years ago, and from there began to develop the idea for our company. This past summer, we participated in the Summer Sandbox program, ending it thinking we'd be producing our own short-form videos. So in the fall, we jumped into production of our pilot episode and learned a lot. The largest takeaway was the production of the quality we were looking for was too expensive for our company's size, and we enjoyed focusing on writing more. We then went through Idea Lab and continued our idea to what you see here today, which is a culmination of strategic pivots to find market fit. We're currently working on a 30-minute comedy drama TV series, and after graduation in May, we're moving to Boston, where we'll continue to build our company part-time until we're able to go full-time.
We'll break into this industry in a few ways. First, content creation is critical. That means we have to be continuously creating comics and scripts to test and then pitch to companies to sell. In order to pitch to companies, we'll need a screenwriting manager. And to get a screenwriting manager, we'll be entering our screenplays into screenwriting contests, proving the quality and marketability of our writing and ideas.
The other important element is that Exit 42 Media will be partnering with nonprofit organizations like the Alliance for Women in Media and Women in Film to further our company's goals of female representation. With this done, we go to pitch to companies using our proof of concept, which is the comic, to leverage the potential of the shows we've written and land the sale.
The pitch's $10,000 will help get our startup off the ground. With this funding, we'll formalize the company into an LLC, hire a comic book illustrator in order to publish our first comic, and pay for entry into fees into events within the comic industry, such as local Comic-Cons, and fees associated with landing a screenwriting manager, ultimately helping us sell our first script.
Our major source of revenue comes from the sale of our scripts to streaming services. While we'll make some money from the sale of our comics, their true value lies in their ability to gain a following. Our typical expenses include paying a comic book illustrator, marketing, and creative and accounting programs. By year 3, we go full-time, increasing our output of scripts, and in year 4, one of our scripts goes to production, thus increasing revenue.
Each of us brings a different perspective to our team. I bring knowledge of the entertainment industry, and this is the second startup I've worked with. I work both in content creation and oversee the company's operations. My goal is to follow in the footsteps of Ava DuVernay and Gail Mancuso, famous female writers and directors.
I bring experience as a writer at a female-focused blog and have a background in the creative arts. I oversee the company's social missions and public outreach. Being raised by a single mother, my goal is to show the strength and determination that women possess.
I'm a screenwriter, comic writer, and have been filmmaking for over 6 years. I oversee the company's writing, production, and graphic design. My goal is to push the boundaries of multimedia storytelling like Shonda Rhimes and Agnes Varda.
We want to leave you with this thought. Media has the power to change the world. Just as Dana Scully from X-Files inspired a generation of women to enter STEM fields, at Exit 42 Media, we want our stories to encourage women to defy stereotypical images on screen.
So the next time we hear we can be anything, we see it too. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go first. Thank you very much. That was exciting. And I don't know how the three of you stay in sync. Even when you said hello earlier tonight, it was in sync, so well done. Okay, I'm going to show my age a little bit here. I'm thinking Archie and Jughead and old Marvel stuff, Spider-Man and Batman and all that. But I understand the place for comics for women target market that you're talking about, and by women. I think that's certainly worthy, and there's probably a niche there that you've identified, and I have to trust that you've identified that correctly. But the comic side, when I've traveled to Japan. I used to go there a lot. I was there recently. You go into the subway in Japan and you see people reading at all age groups and all demographics, people reading comics. But can you just describe more to me so that I can get Archie and Jughead out of my head and my Japanese subway experience and understand what exactly do you mean by the comics and why is this really the trump card to get you into the industry?
Well, we decided comics mostly because there are two parts to why we decided to do comics. One is because it's a very traditionally sexist area in female representation. and we're trying to break those barriers down from the inside. We also know a local comic book author who's been helping us develop our first comic. The content that we're creating is, I guess you could think of it more as a graphic novel in a way, in that we're having character-focused stories that will be able to transition both on the comic and on screen.
So I understand the success for the comics with, I guess, the men, it's more male-oriented. Have you done any studies or know personally if there is a real need or want for a female audience of that kind? Because the thing that I could compare it to is like gaming. There are some females who like to game, but the audience, and that can speak to this other thing with the media too, as well. So anyways, so that's my question.
I think the proof is in the scarce stuff that's out there, has amassed very loyal followings from people who are finally feeling represented in these comics and these shows that are being adapted. One example we gave is Wynonna Earp. Their fan base is very loyal, and because people feel like they see themselves.
I can build off of that. We've also done a lot of customer discovery, particularly around the women that is our target audience for our first project. And they've been telling us and giving us a lot of feedback that representative characters is what they want to see in their media.
Thank you for the great presentation. So the business model is based on, it sounds like, getting a foothold in two pretty significant areas, both building content followers and an audience with a wide range of people, and then also building relationships with big companies who are going to buy your stuff. So talk to us a little bit about how you actually do that, because that's a behemoth task.
Marketing is very important. We want to build a community around our writing, our ideas, what we're creating. One way we're going to do that is through social media, which has been very effective in creating community. We already have we already are establishing an Instagram presence, and we're building our Facebook and Twitter currently. We're really trying to create content that people will want to see and will want to see more of. So by building a community, we know that is what will get people to watch our shows once they are on streaming services.
And to the larger company side of that, we are working with a screenwriting manager who gets us in the door at these companies. We can't just go walk into Netflix or some other company like that. That's why we're surrounding ourselves with people who know this industry and are able to help us get into the industry.
Great. Thank you.
My compliments on your presentation and on the fact that there's 3 partners up there making this presentation. I built a company with 2 other people, and we stayed together and built a very successful company over a 30-year period. However, we had an arrangement for making decisions. You will be contemplating, you will can be confronting a number of decisions if you are successful, or in order to be successful. Have you given thought to how you're going to do that? Have you thought through a process for breaking a disagreement?
Yeah, I mean, our company is built on mutual respect and understanding. And when we do have disagreements, we talk through them. And if it comes down to it, there are 3 of us, we vote, which we have done before. And we respect the decision that's made by the majority. It's really built on respect between the 3 of us.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Exit 42. That was fantastic. That concludes our pitch presentation portion. Could we give another big round of applause for all of our finalists? At this time, I'm going to excuse our judges so that they can take on the very important task of determining our contest winner this evening. Judges, please follow Amy to the Creedon room to deliberate. We would also like to take this time to invite the audience to enjoy a dessert reception outside. We will return here in approximately 10 minutes for the second annual Flash Pitch competition, where you, as the audience, will decide who the winner is. Afterwards, we will announce our winner.
Let me know who wins. Yeah, you two are staying. You stayed this long. Yeah, you should stay the whole time and just let me know who wins. Alright, boys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's a good idea, too. Is between number 2 and number 3. I never saw whatever it was. I know. I think she'll be good. Yeah. She makes $43 a year. If she sells $43 each time, she gets $15. She makes $625 each 5 after sells to. So times 5 years, she sells at $80,000. Take that for you, like, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't take a lot. Cost and shipping and stuff. 17 million. she didn't get like any like
The ones that the question about like what to do with the to make a baby or to do something because you watch Ocean's 13? You get the Jake?
no, but
I need the 2 more pictures of you.
any questions? They don't take questions.
I don't think so. Really cool. You're a fly. Oh, you gonna play Call of Duty? I'll see you the rest of the class. No, I can't prepare. These are my
All right, if I could have everyone take a seat again. We're just getting our flash pitch contestants ready over here. This is our second annual, and we're really excited for you all to vote on the winner. Audience will get to text in the vote. I'm going to welcome my colleague Ed Bizzari up here shortly to introduce the flash pitch contestants. But we're really excited for it. We got a good group.
Okay, let's get going with the flash pitch. Guys, move up a little bit, right here, right in line. There we go. Okay, so here's our flash pitch contestants. As Amy said earlier, and as you know, our pitch finalists were all William Smith students. Coincidentally, all of our flash pitch contestants are Hobart students. So, all right, having said that, let's talk about the flash pitch for a second in this piece of the program that we add in. The flash pitch gives each contestant 90 seconds to pitch an idea, okay? Why do we do this? Because it tests the individuals really on many different fronts at the same time, okay? Courage, ability to think on one's feet, literally, constructing and communicating clear messages, creativity, preparation, time management, displaying authentic enthusiasm, and many other things that depended on the situation, okay? So whether you're really seeking startup funding, okay, you're presenting an idea at a company meeting for the first time, or you're attempting to really, do something as common as arrange a family vacation, okay? Pitching the idea can turn out to be a fundamental entrepreneurial skill that'll take you many places in life. So, what do we have here? You're going to listen to 6 pitches, okay? One from each, obviously. And afterwards, you will be asked to select the contestant you feel conveyed the most originality, had the best pitching skills, was most relatable, and overall makes you want to hear more about their idea, okay? We'll all then vote using our mobile devices, and we'll have some information on the screens here that'll guide you, okay? This year, the first place winner will receive a $50 bookstore gift card, and the runner-up, $25 gift card. That's almost $10,000, okay? Okay, our order runs from that side of the stage to this side of the stage, and each contestant will have the option to use a handheld or the podium. So first up, we have Joe Tate, who will talk about Away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Tate, faculty in the room. With a show of hands, how many of you have a pet at home? As a faculty member, you tend to travel a lot for conferences and vacation, et cetera. You have to leave your pet at home alone or put them in an expensive kennel. Students, on the other hand, have to leave their furry friends behind as they venture into college, missing them, and it's just another stress they don't need. Now let me present Away. Away is an app which is designed to service college campuses across the country. It will connect professors who plan on going away with students who are willing to watch their pets. As a professor looking for a pet sitter, I'm not going to lie. As students, we can be pretty unreliable. To build a sense of trust, there will be a system in place which will allow students and professors to rate each other. As a professor looking for a pet sitter, you'll be able to scroll through a list of student pet sitters at your institution. You'll see their name, their graduation year, a picture of them, and a overall rating on a scale of 5, kind of like what Uber is. You can click on a student, and it will show more information like a personal bio and previous reviews. We're in the beginning stages of development, so join me in this journey to make professors' lives easier and students' lives better. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And I didn't even have to give him the hook on that one. I thought I was going to have to there for a minute. Okay, next up we have Ludner Mercy. He's going to be talking about Legendary.
Testing. Can everyone hear me? All right, good. Hello all, my name is Ludner Mercy, and today I'll be talking about the Legendary Foundation. But first off, I want to give you some background information about myself. I come from a low-income community in West Palm Beach, Florida, where the crime rate and murder rate tops 10 in the country. Growing up, I had to see half of my friends either die or go to prison. And I'm here today to tell you that with guidance and mentorship, I believe all that can change. And that is where the Legendary Foundation comes into play. First off, the Legendary Foundation will provide students with guidance and mentorship by way of professionals from different professional fields, such as judges, lawyers, doctors, and even astronauts if need be, can provide a pathway to success. Oftentimes in low-income communities, children believe their only way to uprise from their circumstance is by way of having aspirations of becoming NFL players, NBA players, rappers, or big-time celebrities. I'm here today to tell you that that's not possible. There's not enough spots. So first off, Legendary will definitely provide leadership and mentorship for these children. Our youth are our future, and we must invest in our future. So won't you come invest with me? Thank you. My name is Ludner Mercy, CEO of Legendary.
Ludner always delivers the goods. Okay. Third up, we have Jay McCoy to talk to us about Hemptation.
Hello? So let me tell you a disgusting fact. Each year, 60 million plastic water bottles are thrown away in the United States. That means that over 22 billion plastic water bottles are thrown away each year. If you consider the weight of a plastic water bottle to be about 12.7 grams, that's over 500 million pounds. That is equivalent to the weight of the Empire State Building. My name is Jay McCoy. I major in educational studies and double minor in biology and child advocacy here at the colleges. I'm part of the Hobart football team, as well as the HWS LEAD certificate program. I'm here today to tell you about Hemptations, an easy way to eliminate plastic water bottle waste. After doing customer discovery with over 200 individuals on campus, the idea of Hemptations was put into play. With Hemptations, there's the ability to create a water bottle that is made out of hemp. Hemp is a product that comes from the fibers of the hemp plant that can ultimately make a water bottle just like plastic. We now know that we can use hemp to create plastic. We now know that we can use hemp to create a water bottle, which can ultimately affect our future and derive a plan that will help climate change and make a clean environment that we all live in. Thank you.
I'm all for getting rid of single-use plastic. Okay, fourth up, Srayan Kanungo will talk to us about Andromeda.
INC.com says that an average professional wastes 21.8 hours on an average 5-day week. That is almost a day. Students do much worse. Exhibit A. So I asked myself why, and the obvious answer that was right in front of me was the fact that we don't schedule properly. We don't schedule as effectively and as frequently as we should because it's daunting and it's scary, right? Then it dawned onto me that there are probably better ways to schedule. My name is Srayan Kanungo. I'm an international student from Bangladesh here at the colleges, and let me introduce you to Andromeda. Andromeda is a scheduling assistant driven by artificial intelligence. It has 4 unique features that really sets it apart from anything else. First, it schedules for you. You set up your class times and go like, Andromeda, I have 3 projects to do. When do I allocate? How do I allocate? It allocates the time based on the most efficient way. Most importantly, it knows you, which means that it knows that I don't like doing econ homework after lunch because I'm sleepy. Additionally, Andromeda suggests things. For example, should I take in another job or should I focus on my grades? Something that I didn't know last semester, right? Additionally, Andromeda can also find common time. So if everyone in this room wants to meet together at one space but can't find common time, we know how hard that gets. Andromeda finds that time for you. Imagine having Jarvis, 5 seconds. Imagine having Iron Man's Jarvis in the palm of your hand with the British accent. That's Andromeda. Thank you.
I can't believe how well that works, just walking up to somebody to get them to stop talking. I wish I knew that a long time ago. Okay. Good job, Saran. All right, number 5. Okay, we have a project called Libraries for Change, and we have Jeffet Martinez to talk to us about that. Jeffet.
Good evening. My name is Jeffet Martinez. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm a major in history and a minor in entrepreneurial studies. I also love to play soccer. My favorite player is Lionel Messi, the best in the world. And I'm also part of the college's opportunity program that helps students from New York State get to and through college. Did you know that out of the 1 million students enrolled in New York City public schools, 72.8% of them live below the poverty line? Also, 10% of the admissions given to specialized high schools, given to students in specialized high schools were Hispanic and Black, but in a system where 70% are Black and Hispanic. We all love our phones with the Snapchat and the tweeting, which is why with Libraries for Change, we will design an app with a plethora of resources and mentorship connections for students in public high schools that has a similar layout as our favorite social media apps, so that students remain engaged. The aim of Libraries for Change is to create an app with a library full of resources, with practice exams, weekly tournaments, and reminders to study and/or do homework. So join me in creating change and opportunities for students who live below the poverty line, who wish for a more equitable education. Libraries for Change will not only enhance the students' learning, but it will create connections with mentors in order to help guide students towards a successful educational path. Thank you.
Okay, great job, Jeffet. All right. Unfortunately, all great things have to end eventually, so we're down to our last contestant here. And what we have now, we're going to talk about Arete, and we have Rue Krimmel to tell us about that. Rue? You want to do it?
Actually, could I have one? Sure. That'd be great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight. Tonight, I'd like to share with you my vision of Arete. For those of you unaware, Arete means excellence. It means living to your full potential. You may ask, how is this relevant? Well, we address the issue of employment within the tech sector, more specifically developing firms. Many talented, driven, inspired undergraduates are caught fearing they won't get the right job, they won't find housing, they won't be covered by healthcare. Some of you might be sitting right here in front of me. At Arete, we take these concerns for you and address them. We will provide training, housing, stipends, healthcare. More importantly, we offer experience, the key to excellence. So, how do you get experience? Well, developing firms operating at high levels often waste considerable amounts of time on contract work. We address this inefficiency by training our employees to do these tasks for these developers. When sufficient experience in the field has been obtained, we allow our clients, these developing firms, to hire our own employees. Think about a trial. How much time and energy can that save employers? In doing this, we provide sufficient securities, training, care, and experience to our employers, while providing them with the opportunity to become valued assets within the developing firms. Thank you.
All right, great job. Whew. Man, all right. Just for a second here, these guys got this task 1 or 2 days ago, really, most of them, some in the last couple days, and they put this all together in the last 2 days to present it here. So give them all a big round of applause. Okay, it's vote time, and we're going to have about 2 minutes to vote. Okay, and here's what you do. Get out your mobile device. And you want to text the number of the person you think did the best job, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, to this telephone number down below. Everyone understand that process? So go. Yeah, we'll have 2 minutes to do that. Just first. Just your number one choice. Okay, about 45 seconds left. Yep. Okay, time's up. Let's get to the winner and the runner-up. Is everyone ready? Okay, the mainframe computer has tabulated the results, and our runner-up, Ludner Mercy with Legendary. Okay, good job, Ludner. Winner time. Okay, our winner this year for the second annual Flash Pitch competition, Srayan Kanungo with Andromeda. All right, thanks everyone for voting, and I believe we have Amy here to announce our pitch results. You guys can take up.
Okay, thank you, Ed. I want to take a moment and just recognize the Centennial Center staff whose hard work and passion in helping students with this event every year. Ed, Kate, and Dana, thank you all for your awesome work tonight. Maya, Nicole, Kathy, Chloe, Addison, and Hannah, could you join me on stage, please? In recognition of your participation in the final round of the pitch, the Centennial Center would like to reward your awesome work for the last 6 months as we support your continued development towards entrepreneurial leadership. These certificates I have here represent $750. Congratulations on your work to date. We hope this contest only enhances your desire to pursue your ideas further. It is very fitting that the judge that was chosen to announce the winner is Tom Bizzuto, who has done an extraordinary amount for entrepreneurship here at HWS. He is going to come up and give us their rationale and announce the $10,000 winner. Tom?
This is really as exciting for me and I think all of us as judges as it is for the contestants. This has been an extraordinary night, and I am very proud. And I think we were standing in there talking, and I think you should know that what we said was that every one of the women who were up here making a presentation is a person who makes each of us proud to be associated with Hobart and William Smith colleges. So we have made a decision. The decision we reached was that the winner was chosen because of the effectiveness of the presentation, the power in the focus on the problem, and the creativity in the solution. The fact that the idea is eminently marketable. It's ready to go. The fact that there is both a combination of profit potential, and we think extraordinary profit potential, and social benefit, very real social benefit. We all remarked on the personal knowledge and commitment to the idea of this person, and the understanding of the need and the solution. I was asked to come up here to be the one to tell you this, because on a July day, July 11th of 2000, my house burned to the ground with my wife and I in it. And so that influenced my vote a little bit. And for that reason, I'm very proud to announce that the winner of this year's pitch competition is Emeritus Fire Gear.
Guys, don't go away. Everyone go on. Just guessing since I don't have family.